Welcome back, everyone. I'm here and I really hope you're doing well because today's story is going to need your full attention. I've got one of the most gut-wrenching posts from Best of Redditor updates, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for every single update. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get into it. This originally was posted to our relationship advice by You Throw RA Mindless Me. And the tagline is, 15 years ago, my best friend got pregnant by my boyfriend of 3 years, and my family knew about it but didn't tell me, so I ran from home. Now we are back in contact, and my mom demands I mend my relationship with my ex-boyfriend and ex-BFF. 4 updates, and this one is long. Let's go. I am new to Reddit and really have no idea how to work it. I really just want to share my story, so I am trying again. Thank you to all who commented on my previous post. I never realized how many amazing people are on here, and I really appreciate the many advices I was given. This is a long story that really started some 15 years ago. It really impacted my 33F life, so please bear with me. When I was 18 and in my senior year of high school, I really believed my life was on a good track. I lived with my parents and 4 siblings, 23M, 22M, 20F, 14F, and spent most of my days hanging out with my best friend Ashley, 18F, and or my boyfriend of 3 years, Kyle, 20M. Both Ashley's and Kyle's parents were best friends with my parents, so I knew both of them since we were in diapers. We spent holidays together, birthdays, and visited each other all the time as we'd lived in the same town. Ashley's been my friend for 18 years, and she truly was the person I trusted with everything. Sometimes our parents would joke that we are connected by the hip, as we were together all the time. I've been dating Kyle for the last 3 years. I believed he was the love of my life, and the one I would eventually marry. We were quite serious and even talked about getting married after he finished college. He was a sophomore at this point. Although I had every plan on going to university, I was quite content with the idea of being married to Kyle and being a stay-at-home mom. My parents loved Kyle and supported our relationship. I really was happy. I think I should note here that my sister, 20F, was also dating Kyle's brother, 23M, and that all our siblings were very close. One day, at the beginning of the school year, I noticed that Ashley was being very melancholic and detached. After a while of prodding, she told me she was pregnant. I was very surprised because I didn't know. She and her boyfriend had broke up a while ago, and I didn't know she had anyone else like that in her life. I asked her who the father was, and she didn't want to talk about it, but in a way that implied the ex was the father. She was absolutely distraught, so I dropped the topic and just consoled her. I was with her when she told her family, and while her parents were disappointed, they promised to support her in whatever way she decides. They tried to make her share the dad's name, but she refused and made me promise to stay quiet. They did not know she had a boyfriend at one point. I was there for her for the next 9 months. I went with her for an ultrasound, doc's appointments. I was there for when she was being bullied in school for being pregnant. I helped her set up the nursery. I was there when she was sick or just felt down. I held a baby shower for her, went shopping with her. I even took some parenting classes with her. We chose names together, and she even asked me to be with her in the delivery room. I noticed that the pregnancy was really taking a toll on her emotionally and physically, and I tried to support her in every way possible. She was my best friend, always there for me, and I loved her. Okay, I need to stop here for a moment. She went to ultrasound appointments, she helped set up the nursery, she held a baby shower, she took parenting classes, and the entire time, she had absolutely no idea that the father was her own boyfriend of 3 years. That is a lot. The betrayal here hasn't even fully landed yet, and I'm already feeling it for her. Some 2 weeks before her due date, I went to the mall to run some errands and ran into her ex. Although I promised never to contact her, the knowledge of my friend's emotional state sent me into a fit of anger, and I confronted him. I gave him a piece of my mind, told him what a piece of shit he was for leaving his ex pregnant and alone and not caring for his unborn child. He was shocked and said that he had no idea what I was talking about. Ashley never told him about the pregnancy, and when I told him she was 9 months pregnant at the time, he said it was not possible for him to be the father as they broke up over a year ago and had no relations since then. I was confused, but apologized for yelling at him in the middle of a mall. After that, he became snarky, said some nasty stuff, and mentioned that maybe I should ask Ashley's friend Kyle if he is the daddy. I didn't really think about his words in any way. Kyle and Ashley have been friends their entire lives. We were always very close because of our parents' relationship, but they never showed any sign of being anything more. That evening, my younger sister, 14F, and I were preparing to have a movie night. I began ranting to her about confronting Ashley's ex and his words. My sister, who is usually very outspoken, got quiet and didn't really respond to anything I said. After a while, she excused herself and went to the bathroom. I decided to go and get some snacks and went downstairs to the kitchen and heard my younger sister berating my mother. This part of my memory is really fuzzy as I was dealing with lots of emotions. My sister told my mom about me running into Ashley's ex and his words, and told my mom she no longer wanted to hide from me the fact that Kyle was Ashley's baby's father. I was shocked. Absolutely shocked. I stumbled into the kitchen and demanded an explanation. Both my mom and my sister became white as a sheet when they saw me, and my sister started crying her eyes out. My sister explained to me, some things I also learned from other people later, that during the end of the summer break, Kyle and Ashley attended the same house party, got drunk, and slept together. Ashley got pregnant and told Kyle, but they were both ashamed and afraid of telling me. They also didn't share this with their parents. Ashley, however, couldn't keep the secret and told her mom and dad, who told Kyle's parents, and later to mine as well. This all happened when Ashley was in her first trimester. By her second trimester, all of my siblings, Kyle's and Ashley's siblings, knew about this. Everyone except for me. I simply cannot explain the way I felt. I was physically ill for the next 3 days and I couldn't speak to anyone. My parents were apologetic but explained that they didn't want to see me hurt or ruin everyone's relationship. I did not speak with Kyle or Ashley, although they bombarded my phone with messages and calls and also came to my house. I refused to see them. At one point, Kyle's mom came to our house and my mom allowed her into my room. While I was lying in my bed, still ill and just emotionally drained from the betrayal, she tried to convince me to forgive them and how Ashley and the baby need me. I said nothing. 2 weeks later, Ashley went into labour. I learned from my parents that she had a hard delivery. She lost a lot of blood and needed an emergency C-section. Kyle, apparently, was at the birth. I was distraught, inconsolable. Because of the betrayal by both. Because I planned to be there and now physically and emotionally couldn't. Because I was looking forward to this moment for months. So many reasons. My older sister immediately went to the hospital to be with her boyfriend. My other siblings weren't at home, so I was left alone with my parents. All I wanted to do was lay in my bed or cuddle in my bed with my mom and cry all my feelings out. My mom received a call from Ashley's mom. She came to my room and told me that she and my dad were going to the hospital. I was perplexed and asked her to stay with me. She said that Ashley's parents need all the support they can get and we will discuss everything later. I tried to tell her not to go and that I also need their support, but she said not to be selfish and they left. I was left alone at the house and I just couldn't comprehend what happened in the last few weeks. I couldn't believe that my parents would go and support someone who hurt me so much, while I was also here suffering. Am I really selfish to think like that? I don't know when, but my sadness turned into rage, the kind I never experienced before. In a fit of combined emotions and feelings of betrayal, I started packing my bags and decided to leave home. It didn't take a while, but I started having second thoughts and just sat in the living room feeling empty. After a while, I received a text from my sister. The text said that Ashley gave birth to a healthy girl and that we were both okay. She attached a pic of the newborn and told me they named her Sarah, the name Ashley and I chose some months ago. She sent a second text a while later, telling me that my parents and she were going to join Ashley's and Kyle's parents in going to a bar in town to celebrate. I don't remember much after that. I think I was just consumed by everything and my memory is very foggy. I left. I took a train and left. I stayed at a hostel in Phoenix for a while. I got a job at a store and planned to finish high school there. My parents, siblings, Kyle, and Ashley tried to contact me. My mom was sending me a panicked voicemail, demanding me to come back. They also reported me as a missing person, but I don't think it went anywhere as I was 18. Anyway, soon afterward I met Dean, 21M. He also lived in Phoenix and had a complicated relationship with his family. We really connected and became friends soon. He helped me a lot at the time. I struggled. I had no idea how to take care of myself or how to, literally, be an adult. He introduced me to his group of friends, helped me finish high school. I moved in with him and his friends. He helped me deal with my pain. I really struggled at one point and also had some regrets. I wanted to see a therapist, but I most definitely couldn't afford it. He was there for me and supported me through everything, and I don't think I would have lasted long without him. We began dating after a year. He inherited some money from his grandpa and decided to move across the country to the big city. Although we weren't together long, he asked me to go with him. I was a bit reluctant because we both had a lot of emotional baggage and I was still very insecure in my situation, but I did go. We moved, got jobs, and tried to survive. Soon after my 21st birthday, we decided to get married. It was a crazy, spontaneous decision, but we did it. I enrolled in university and Dean helped me pay for it. He himself opened a company that took off and we were able to live more comfortably. I was in uni and also worked a part-time job to contribute. We had our ups and downs, but somehow survived. After uni, I started working in his company and we slowly built it up. When I look back now, I don't think I was in love with Dean when we got married. I loved him, but I wasn't in love. But he was there for me, always, unconditionally, and today. I don't think I could love him more. He is the love of my life. We've been married for 12 years now, and we have a 2-year-old son and a 6-month-old son. Sometimes I regretted leaving my family behind, but I just couldn't go back. It was very painful. I felt like my parent chose Ashley and Kyle over me. I did go to a therapist when I was 25 and tried to deal with my emotions. Last year, at the beginning of the pandemic, I received an email from a 14-year-old girl named Evelyn. She explained that she was my niece, my older sister's and Kyle's brother's kid. She knew about me and wanted to meet me. Although I was reluctant to speak to her, we did exchange some emails. Let me know that she did not know what transpired 15 years ago, so the conversations were pretty innocent. We talked about her school, interests, and she talked about my family. I learned I had 10 nieces and nephews. I also learned that Kyle married Ashley 4 years after I left and had 2 sons besides Sarah. My parents continued to have a friendship with Kyle's and Ashley's family, and to me, it really felt like my family continued their normal life despite me being gone. She tried to talk to me about what happened, but I didn't really think it was my place to explain things to her, so I simply said that relationships change and things happen in life that make us go our separate ways. We continued talking ever so often for almost a year. In her email this January, she expressed how the pandemic had a big effect on her entire family and how my parents were struggling to keep their house, and both my brothers lost their jobs and struggled to keep up with the cost. I was surprised at her knowledge of this, as she was only 14, but the hardship was also causing tension between her parents. I started to deal with a lot of guilty feelings and regrets. I also just had my baby, so that was causing me lots of emotions. I talked to my husband, and he was very supportive and told me that he would be there for me, whatever I decide. We are financially stable, and the pandemic didn't have a great impact on our finances. We are not rich, but we are able to live comfortably. After learning some more details and talking with Dean, we decided to help my parents with their house. A week ago, we flew back to my home state. I saw my family for the first time in 15 years. I had so many emotions, regrets, pains from the past, feelings of betrayal. My parents were, I think, relieved to see me. It was just such a weird day. We had a lengthy conversation and agreed to have some sort of cordial relationship. It's been so long and I am very awkward with them. Sometimes they feel like strangers. Dean and I spent a week there and we continued to have a conversation, and I truly believed that we were on a path to having a friendly but distant relationship. But then my mom started insisting I have a sit-down conversation with Kyle and Ashley. She explained that she wants to go back to the way things were. I told her I refused to talk to them. Although I moved on, I simply have no ties with them now and I don't want to rehash anything with them. I told her I am prepared to try and establish a relationship with them as they are my family, and I truly came to care for my niece, but that I don't want anything to do with Kyle, Ashley, or their family. I never demanded them to cease their relationship with their friends, but I don't want one. Dean supports me. My mom called me selfish and said that I simply must try and heal our relationship. I told her I will not negotiate and that it's on her to decide whether or not she wants to have a relationship with me. She said okay. But 2 days later, I received a phone call from Kyle's mom. I did not give her my number, and she demanded, yes, demanded, I talk with Kyle and Ashley, as my return caused tensions in their relationship and their emotional health. I hung up. I called my mom and confronted her. Apparently, she gave that woman my number to heal our family bonds. I told her that she is choosing them over me again. She cried and yelled at me that I am selfish and that she just wants her family back. I hung up. It's been days since I spoke to any of them, although my mom and Kyle's mom keep on calling. Although I think I'm right, and I believe I should prioritize my well-being and the well-being and happiness of my husband, who has been behind me 100% and even told my mom off, and my sons, I am starting to have some regrets. I don't know if I should listen to my mom and speak to Ashley and Kyle. I question whether I was overreacting 15 years ago. I am questioning whether I am truly selfish for not actively trying to repair the relationship. I would really appreciate any advice or opinion on what to do in this situation. Suddenly, I'm questioning the entire course of my life. I am so lost, and I don't know what to do. Right, so let's just take stock of what happened here. At 18 years old, this woman discovered that her best friend of her entire life had gotten pregnant by her boyfriend of 3 years. And every single adult in her life, her parents, her siblings, Kyle's family, Ashley's family, they all knew. They sat on the secret for months, watched her attend doctor's appointments and set up the nursery and planned to be in the delivery room and said nothing. And then, when she finally found out, her parents left her alone, sick in bed, to go celebrate the birth at a bar. I want to sit with that for a moment because that detail is unreal to me. And now, 15 years later, her mother's first move is not, I'm sorry, it's, you need to fix your relationship with Kyle and Ashley. The audacity there is something else. OP, you are not being selfish. You are being sane. There's a difference. Let's see what the comments had to say. Riri202. Your mother hasn't changed. Her priority is still her friends and their children. It certainly isn't you. She showed that at the time, and she showed it again now. She doesn't respect you or your boundaries. She certainly feels no regret. Cut ties. Speak to your niece if you want, but no one else. Your mother will never change. You are the victim in all of this, and they are too self-absorbed and selfish to see it. Your family is toxic. I've reread this post multiple times, and honestly, just run. Your mother doesn't value you. They showed no regard for your emotional well-being or mental health. Only your younger sister showed a little. I mean, they even went to the hospital and then out to celebrate the baby's birth. It's like your pain was nothing. They have all betrayed you so very much. You deserve better. Keep your chin high and walk away. Yeah, I have to agree with this one, and the line that's sticking with me is, your mother hasn't changed. Because she hasn't, has she? The pattern is exactly the same. Back then, she chose Ashley and Kyle's family over her own daughter, and 15 years later, she's doing it again, giving out OP's phone number, pressuring her to reconcile, calling her selfish? The behavior is consistent. The priority was never OP. Raging feminine flower. This times 1 million, and OP, you owe Kyle and Ashley absolutely nothing. Their relationship falling apart is their issue, not yours. They both betrayed you, and in a way, each other, because neither will ever trust the other because they both know that they're shitty people. Stay the course, cut contact, and believe these are all the crappy people you believed them to be 15 years ago. Because they are still, and always will be. Lauren357. Not to mention, none of them ever bothered to check up on OP or be there to comfort her when she needed them the most. Let's go lesbo. They checked up on her when they needed help and money. Disgusting. NTA. Oh, this one is sharp and it's right. Think about the timeline. 15 years of silence, and then a 14-year-old reaches out and mentions that the family is struggling financially. And suddenly, everyone wants to reconnect. I'm not saying that OP shouldn't have helped. She clearly has a generous heart. But that observation? Yeah, that lands. Okay. Update time. Let's see where this goes. Update. 2 years later. My gosh, it's been 2 years since I posted this. A lot of people have been asking me for an update. First of all, I want to thank all of the wonderful people who've been sending me updates and lovely messages. I'm truly grateful. A lot of things have happened in the last few years, not all great. Without making these 100 pages long, I never mentioned my little sister in my original post. Her relationship with my parents went downhill after I left home, and she went no contact with them when she was 20. I received her number from our older sister, and although it was awkward at first, it's been 15 years after all, we did start speaking again. She was very angry at me for leaving. A lot has happened in her life, and it wasn't the easiest. She has a toddler and a baby of her own, and I have to say that the kids have helped us bond again. She's my best friend, and we talk every day. As for my siblings, I'm in regular contact with both my brothers, although we aren't close. My older sister and I have a good relationship now, but last year, we've had a longer period of not speaking. As she is married to Kyle's brother, it was hard for her to deal with all our and their family drama. We are cool now, and I have a lovely relationship with my nieces and nephews. I didn't go to my niece's birthday party. It just seemed like it would be too hard for me, now to my parents. This one is a little painful for me to write, and at the time, it felt like I was reliving all those shitty emotions I had at 18. My mom didn't let up with her pestering over me not talking with Kyle and Ashley. Her calls for that continued for months, even after I was home again. It bordered on emotional blackmail. She blamed me for not honouring her wishes, for her friendship problems and health problems, and even accused me of keeping her grandbabies from her. Last June, I had my daughter, and it seems like that sent her completely over the rails. What I mean by that, 100 plus calls a day, messages every 20 minutes to pester me about random things, sending me updates about people I never want to know about. When she started pestering Dean, I was done. I was afraid to block her, so I spoke to my father. This was probably the first time in the last 17 years we had a true heart-to-heart conversation. I was emotionally drained, tired from caring for 3 children, and just over everything. I probably poured all my feelings and emotions onto him. I don't know what happened to them afterwards. He doesn't speak much about it. Her calls slowly ceased, and something else must have happened because in August he filed for a divorce. My father and I are in regular contact, although I don't think we'll ever be back to normal. Mom is devastated. In August, her calls became insane, and apparently not just with me. I've changed my number since then, and as of February, she has not been able to reach me. I've been told by one of my brothers that she has problems with anxiety and depression and lost a lot of friends. I don't really know whether or not she continues to have a relationship with Kyle and Ashley's family. I don't want to have anything to do with her anymore, nor do I want her near my kids. The things she's said to me, and about my husband, whom she really doesn't know, and after 15 years of no contact, is crazy. Although I regret not having a mom, I feel like trying and fighting to repair the little remnants of our relationship would be a waste of my emotional energy, and just pure torture. As for Kyle and Ashley, I've received some calls from Kyle's mom, as I mentioned in my original post. I blocked her, and no other calls have been received from anyone. I really don't know what they are doing or where they are. I have had no contact with them. The only thing that really happened is that in August, when shit went downhill, my brother-in-law, Kyle's brother, bought me a letter apparently written by Ashley. I've not opened it, and I really don't know if I want to. I feel like I've moved on from them, but on the other hand, I'm curious as to what she has to say after so many years. However, that in itself could bring back bad emotions. I'm doing okay now, with my babies and Dean, who is a real trooper in all of this. I'm trying to focus on my family, and I really hope that this is all behind me. To all of you, thank you again. If anything else happens, I'll try to update sooner. Okay, a lot happened in this update. Her younger sister, who was the one person who broke the secret of 14, had her own life fall apart after OP left. And now they're best friends again. That's genuinely beautiful. Sometimes the people who carry the most guilt are the ones who are put in an impossible situation to begin with. She was a teenager. She didn't create the situation. But the mother, 100 calls a day, messages every 20 minutes, and OP's father, who we haven't really heard from until now, filing for divorce in August. That tells you everything about what was going on in the household. The mother's behavior wasn't just directed at OP. It sounds like it was directed at everyone. And then there's the letter from Ashley, sitting with her therapist, unopened. I actually think that is exactly the right call, because there is no version of that letter that gives OP anything she needs right now. Whatever's in it, an apology, an explanation, an excuse, none of it changes what happened. And as one commenter put it, nothing positive will come from reading it. I don't disagree. Let's read those comments. Long Jumping Agency 245. Fuck no, burn the letter, do not look back. Beardy Will. Seconded. Nothing positive will come from reading it. There's no acceptable apology for what they've done. Alright, moving on because the story doesn't stop there. Update 2, 1 month later. Dear everyone, I have no idea if anyone will see this, but during the last few months since I posted my update, I have received many messages with advice and words of support. I have no way of thanking you, but know that your words truly mean a lot to me. I try to reply to everyone, but it sometimes takes me a while. A lot of questions have been asked in these messages, and I can't answer them all at this time. I plan on updating soon. Just to quickly answer the most common ones, I have not read the letter yet. Soon after updating, I started therapy again, and Dean and I decided that it would be best if I give the letter to my therapist and let him decide when and if I am ever ready to read it. I have not spoken to my mom since the update. I received messages on Facebook from her and Ashley's mom, which is a first. The latter I didn't even read. I've since deactivated my Facebook for the time being. Neither Kyle nor Ashley tried to contact me via any social media. The only thing I know is that Kyle was asking my brother-in-law for my address or my number, but brother-in-law refused them. That's when Ashley gave him the letter. Brother-in-law is in no contact with his family at the moment. They are separated, as per my brother-in-law, but he does not know whether they are divorced or not. Last week my dad was in town. He does not know my address and has never been to my house. For the first time in almost 2 decades, we had an open, honest conversation. I have to admit it was a lot, and I was not good for a few days afterwards, but it was necessary. I learned a lot about my mom. A lot of you tried to imply there must have been something in her past to make her the way she is, and the time between them learning Ashley was pregnant and my return 2 years ago. It's a lot to unpack, and I'll probably be in therapy for a long time. It's a lot, really, so I'll have to write a separate update. Also, my little sister. She was not at fault, and I never blamed her for hiding the secret from me. She was a teen, and she knew it was wrong, but she was put under a lot of pressure by our mom. After I left her, her life was hell, and our mom was insufferable and blamed her for a lot of things. Again, thank you for your words of support and encouragement. Lots of you sent words for Dean as well, and he's read them. You are right, he is the best, and I probably would not have been where I am today without him. Please appreciate your families, if they are good for you, and good and bad, of course. Call your parents and siblings, and tell them how much you love them. In moments like this, we realize how much we undervalue the good people in our lives. Thank you, and I hope you are all well. So, Kyle was asking OP's brother-in-law for her address, not Ashley, Kyle. That detail is interesting to me. And Ashley gave the brother-in-law the letter right around the same time, almost like she knew Kyle was looking and wanted to get there first. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the fact that they're now separated and Kyle is suddenly very interested in tracking OP down, it doesn't feel like closure seeking, it feels like something else. And the conversation with her father, OP said she was not good for a few days afterwards. Whatever she learned about her mother's past, whatever context her father gave her, clearly it was significant, and I think that's a thread this story still hasn't fully pulled. Let's look at the comments. Prize Fox 9163. I'm happy you're doing well. I wouldn't read that letter even if my therapist suggests I can. Nope, no way, especially after reading this. The only thing I know is that Kyle was asking my brother-in-law for my address or number, but brother-in-law refused them. That's when Ashley gave him the letter. Brother-in-law is in no contact with his family at the moment. They are separated as per my brother-in-law, but he does not know whether they're divorced or not. I can't see it may bring anything good to your life. She wrote it for her own selfish reasons, and you don't need to give her any satisfaction. You can, maybe you should, forgive them for your own well-being, but you should never forget all the pain that they caused to you. Just like Eva Moses Core did. But take your time. It's a process your therapist should help you to follow. Be strong. I wish you all the best. And there's a reply from OP. I think I am still far away from even attempting to read the letter. I guess for me, it's not really about forgiveness anymore at this point. It seems like me talking to them or responding/reading the letter would mean closure for other people. One thing that struck me when I discussed the situation with my dad a few weeks ago is that he said how all these people are essentially stuck back in time, and how there being no closure, or how I never confronted them, spoke to them, yelled at them, or anyone besides my own family, causes this common pain to be brought out over and over again. That fights between people eventually lead to me and what was done to me. But I don't think that's my fault, nor am I sure if I owe them a confrontation and or closure. A lot of people ask me if I think they were in love all along. I don't think so. Maybe Ashley had a crush, but I don't think they were in love, or especially Kyle. I based that on both of their actions afterwards. I don't really get what everyone's plan was. The comment referenced Eva Moses Core, a Holocaust survivor who chose to forgive the Nazis, not for their sake, but for her own peace. That's a profound comparison to bring here, and OP's response is really thoughtful. She's not there yet. And she points out something that I think is genuinely insightful. That any response from her, whether it's reading the letter or confronting them, would essentially be handing them closure. Closure that, in her words, serves other people. Her father's framing, that everyone is stuck back in time because there was never a confrontation, that's interesting. But I push back a little. It's not OP's job to unstick them. They made the choices that created this situation. She doesn't owe them a cathartic screaming match just so they can sleep better at night. Next one is update 3, 2 months later. Hello. She was never bullied before, really. It started after she got pregnant. Our state is pretty conservative, so it wasn't well received that she was pregnant, unmarried, and without a partner. There was no physical violence. People were quite mean and kept reminding her of her mistakes. I don't know if people knew that he was the father. I just always assumed it was because she was pregnant. I've learned from my dad that apparently they weren't hooking up with each other before, but that could be a lie. But apparently she did like him, so it wasn't really just an awkward, drunk one-night stand with just anyone. Knowing this fact would probably kill me back then, but I sort of assumed it without being told. Her ex suspected it. They didn't date anymore at the party, but I think he also never liked Kay, so seeing them together was a red flag. I wasn't a party animal, nor was she, but I don't know, they just went that day. I don't remember if they went together or separately, but I'd assumed the latter. She did have other friends, after all, who enjoyed nights out. The drunkenness part, I really don't remember them being that heavy drinkers. At least I never saw her drunk to the point that she was reckless or had a loss of memory. So I never really believed that part much, but I wasn't there. And really, it doesn't matter, drunk or not, it was a betrayal. I read some of Kyle's texts back then. I never answered any of the phone calls or anything. I never spoke to them after I learned that he was the father. I kind of regret that now. Maybe it would have been more beneficial for everyone if I gave them a good earful, expressed all the pain and gone no contact after that. But I just wasn't in the right state of mind. And I was sick a lot back then. This current letter is from her, and I haven't read it yet. At this point, I believe that my mom is grieving the loss of a tight family friendship unit that we had when I was younger, and some other relationship. She has yet to realize that none of her 5 kids speak or see to her. None of her grandchildren see her. None of us, as far as I know, speak to her. That in itself would be the end for me. I can't imagine what emotional state she must be in. We all agree we need psychological or psychiatric help. She refused. Dad and eldest brother tried, but you can't convince someone like that. Let's look at the comments. Zealous Ideal Gold 5909. Does Kyle know you're married? I know he's been trying to find where you were, but does he know you have a husband and kids? I think you not giving them an earful of how much they hurt you is the most suitable punishment for Kyle and Ashley. They kept this secret from you, and were cool with their entire families being in on it, so they don't get to have that confrontation from you. It's better for them to live their lives with guilt, never knowing if you'll ever contact them. Don't read that letter. It won't do you any good, especially that it's coming from someone that was supposed to be your best friend. She, like your boyfriend, slept with him with the possibility that she had full intentions of doing this and lied to you about her pregnancy. That letter will be full of excuses and woe is me. Who cares about her mental health issues? I currently suffer from it, but I never acted this way, so there's no excuse for why she betrayed you. I'm sure she only sent this letter because Kyle is not in her life as much, and she's upset she lost him. If they were still together, she might have continued on her life like nothing had happened. They were all cowards and traitors who are struggling to move past this, and it's not your fault. Remember, there were adults involved, and they all failed you. It's their fault that they value their friendships with each other's families more than your well-being. I'll never understand how you're able to reconnect with your sister and father without breaking, but I guess that's your good nature. Something none of these people have. Continue to live your life with Dean and your kids and rebuild your relationships, but you don't owe a thing to your mother, the other families, and most certainly Kyle and Ashley. OP's response? I'm sure he does know. His mom does, both Dean and I had words with her, his brother knows, and I am sure others also told him. The kids were not there, but we never hid the fact that we have 2 sons. Yes, I also have my assumptions about the letter, though brother-in-law said she most likely wrote down the things she wasn't able to say back then. We never spoke again since I learnt that the baby is Kyle's. Reconnecting with my father and older sister wasn't easy. It still isn't. It took more than 2 years. They've never been to my house, but we do speak often these days. Trust me, I've shed a good amount of tears and suffered from anxiety during this process. It will take time. Never be the same, but for now, we're doing good. This comment raises something I've been thinking about too. Kyle knows OP is married. He knows that she has kids. He knows she built a full life, and yet he's still asking around for her address. I want to be careful here because I don't know what his intentions are. Maybe it really is about needing closure, but the combination of separated from Ashley plus actively trying to locate OP is a combination that makes me raise both eyebrows. And OP's answer about reconnecting with her father, trust me, I've shed a good amount of tears. That's the line right there. People see the outcome and assume it was smooth. It wasn't. It never is. Update 4 in a comment, 2 months later. Hello. Truthfully, I read this yesterday but needed some time to sort out my response. I have no idea whether they were in love with each other, or whether she was in love with him before it all happened, or really if it happened only once or more times. They said only once. I think she liked him, but I always thought it was because we were such close friends. They blamed each other. I read only a couple of their messages and never talked to them. It's what I heard from my sisters, my father, etc. It seems they were desperate at the time, especially Ashley. They married when the kid was, 4 or 5. I know they are not together at the moment, but nothing more really. I hope Kyle didn't cheat. I wouldn't wish that pain on anyone, especially with 3 kids. His texts, they were typical, I guess. He begged me to see him, talk to him, how he loves me, and we can't break up, etc., etc. I didn't read all of them. He came to the house twice that I know of, but my older brother sent him away. He was very frantic in text from what I heard in person. Ashley was just sad and very persistent with a long text. I know some don't approve of me just ignoring them, but I was sick and devastated. I was dead to the world for a few days. I do sometimes think it may have been a one-time/one-night thing, a mistake, but that one mistake turned into a months-long lie. While she was pregnant with his child, she allowed me to continue to date him and plan things with him and her. My sadness and anger aren't so much about them cheating, it's that I was lied to for months, and if my sister hadn't spoken, probably for years. Years. There was no jealousy, I think. There was no putting down in looks or people saying, oh, Ashley is better looking, no, E is prettier. I do sometimes think that it may have been a one-time/one-night thing, a mistake, but that one mistake turned into a months-long lie. While she was pregnant with his child, she allowed me to continue to date him and plan things with him and her. My sadness and anger aren't so much about them cheating, it's that I was lied to for months, and if my sister hadn't spoken, probably for years. I have a new number, and besides my immediate family, bar my mother, no one from my old life has this new number, so Kay's mom calling me shouldn't be possible. Kay's mom wasn't worried about me. Just like my mom, she insisted we repaired my relationship with everyone and claimed that my presence was now ruining their marriage and causing troubles all around. Unlike my mom, she was on her daughter's side. The dads. My dad was mostly uninvolved in the situation. I don't know so much about the other dads, but I can say that the moms are wearing the pants in these relationships, and they are all very forceful women, with the sides of others. I'm just saying that if any of them wrote down their own narrative in a Reddit post, they would probably receive a lot of sympathy. And maybe people would find me the problem. A few days ago, I received a lot of comments from a user defending A and claiming that K raped her. This user accused me of paedophilia, despite everyone being 18+, and just saying really nasty stuff. So I guess that's my point. And let's go to the comments. Comment 1. Going no contact was the best and most damning things OP could do. If the wrong person yells and curse, they can feel uncomfortable to tell themselves that was their penance. If the victim disappears without a word, as OP did, then the wrongdoers are left with self-reflection. They experience discomfort without resolution. They live with the knowledge they greatly harmed someone, and that fact lingers around them, turning the air sour and preventing them from moving forward. OP might not have meant to do any of that, but I'm glad she did. Comment 2. That OP's parents thought they could gaslight and strong-arm her back into her normal life is absolutely insane. That her parents cared more for normalcy than her emotional well-being has to be the biggest betrayal a parent can gift their child. Edit, fixed my helpful autocorrect. Both of these final comments deserve a moment. The first one, about going no contact being the most damning thing OP could have done, I think that's genuinely true. When you yell and cry and confront someone, you're giving them something to respond to. You're giving them a role to play. When you simply disappear, without a word, without a scene, there's nothing to deflect onto. Just the silence and the reflection that they can't escape. And the second comment nails something that's been sitting with me this whole story. The assumption that they could just pressure OP back into her old life, as if 15 years of self-built happiness could just be negotiated away. What they never understood is that OP didn't leave in a tantrum. She left because she had no other way to survive what happened to her. And she built something real on the other side. Here's what I'll say about this one. OP was 18 years old, completely alone, and betrayed by literally everyone she had ever trusted. And instead of collapsing, she found Dean. She finished school. She built a company. She built a family. That's not a story about what was done to her. That's a story about who she is. The mother, Kyle, Ashley, they want closure. They want the version of events where OP forgives them and everything goes back to the way it was. But here's the thing. It was never good the way it was. A family that can watch their daughter be betrayed like that and choose to protect the people doing the betraying, that was never a safe family to return to. You're allowed to grieve the family you deserved and still choose to not go back to the one you had. If you're in a similar situation where the people who were supposed to protect you chose someone else, I really hope this story gave you something. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. What would you have done with the letter? Drop it down there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.